How you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's the weekend going for you guys so far?
Great.
Nice. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Intense.
great.
So many people.
So many. Anyone's first time in Columbus? Yeah. Oh wow. So how are you enjoying it so far, Neil?
I love it. I was say when the plane came down, I was like, that's a lot of there's a lot of white on the ground.
Oh yeah.
That's snow. It was snow, and I had a very lovely walk on Friday morning yesterday in the snow.
You
Didn't
have
build
to.
a snowman, but there's always time.
I really thought I could take it, and I walked down I went to a couple bars and restaurants, thinking I got this, and I did not got that.
It's brutal.
Did
'Cause
not
it's
got
cold?
that. I was cold. My Texas heart. Yeah,
Like
froze over.
California heart, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles. This is
Yeah.
like the polar opposite for me. Get it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you ever get snow in California?
Every once in a blue moon, there,
Right.
and it'll only happen for like 10 minutes at a time. But that's if it gets really cold in like January or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm well aware of what you're all in, but if we can just quickly go down the line and let everybody know some of the notable roles that you may be known for, and also how long you've been voice acting. So we can start with you, Kellen.
Sure. I've been voice acting since I was 13, so 17 years. And you might know me from Five Nights at Freddy's. I play Freddy and Sun and Moon and Toy Freddy in this new movie that just came out. A lot of fun there. Overhaul, My Hero Academia, Fiddlesticks, League of Legends, Diablo, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. A smattering.
You guys had a FNAF watch party. Was that last night?
We did.
Was
It
anybody
last
there?
night.
Did anybody go? How was it? How'd it go? How'd it
Yeah.
go? Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was great. It was just the audience and them, no moderator. It was like really personal and stuff. It rocked.
Very cool. All right, Austin.
Hi. My name's Austin Tindle. I'm also a voice actor. I've been voice acting for 17 years too. Yeah, but I'm 41 now, so I started later than you did. I'm known for Kaneki in Tokyo Ghoul. Thank you. Monoma in My Hero. Windbreaker is a new show that you guys should check out. And Trigun Stampede and now Trigun Stargazers coming out in January. And then 300 other shows.
My hero as well.
My Hero, yeah. Oh, did I not? Yeah, My Hero Monoma. He's not the most loved character.
Neither is Overhaul.
That's
so
true, yeah.
We're in this together, bud.
And last but not least, Neil.
Yeah, my name is Neil Ellice. I'm definitely it appears, the FNG, as people who follow Call of Duty would say, the effing new guy. I got into voice acting through being very fortunate to get into a video game, and it just became apparent that it was something that I'd get an opportunity to do there as well as the motion capture stuff, and then since then I've just been kind of auditioning and stuff. Haven't really done much more than two Call of Duty games, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. And then had a wee role in a recurring co-star thing in a Marvel Loki show. So yeah,
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm super. I got a
Cool.
lot to learn.
That show's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
like
Well,
it.
thank you. It was a beautiful show, and it was an amazing experience just to get to stand and watch. Honestly, yeah.
That's cool.
Well, jumping into the world of voice acting, especially for you, Neil, you jumped in also doing mocap. It's a little different vibe, and I wanted to know what your experience was with that, how you handled that, and also Austin and Kellen, if you've ever done any mocap. So, start with you, Neil.
Yeah, it was mocap's a lot like doing a play. It's a lot of one takes, one shots. Sorry, not necessarily one takes. They're like 16 takes because they're one shots. They're trying to get everything that they can into one shot. And typically, when they're doing motion capture, it's for more complicated stuff where there's some choreography there. And so yeah, it was just like acting in a play, to be honest with you. There's no coverage, which is in a film and TV where they're moving the camera around. It's all from the same angle. So you tend to run it a lot, and then hopefully they're happy with one of the takes, and they kind of just use that one take. So yeah, it was a great experience, and it's all about the company you keep and the people that you work with, and
Yeah.
they were fab. So
Yeah, of course. And then again, Austin and Kellen, have you guys ever had an experience with mocap?
I've always wanted to. Ever since I saw some of the behind the scenes for Last of Us, and I was a big theater guy, and I really miss the community and just getting to act with another actor. So that's something I really would like to experience in the future. But I hate doing video games because the battle queues. I was a lead in a first-person shooter that was a remaster of an old game that was supposed to get released a couple years ago, but they kind of canned it. I was one of the leads, and they had somebody else do all the mocapping, which made me sad. But we did all the acting scenes, and it was super dramatic, and it was a really good time. And then I got COVID, and then we were supposed to cover these like 900 battle queues. And like they'd have these 4-hour sessions booked, and we would get 45 minutes in, and then I would just rip my voice apart, just like screaming like "throw the grenade" or whatever.
Grenade out.
Yeah. And then
do it
like,
again.
It was so
Grenade
frustrating
out.
because for like 6 months they'd be like, "Okay, you still sound sick, so we're gonna wait like 6 weeks and book you again." But every time they'd book me for 4 hours and try to use that whole 4 hours, and I was like, if I could spend a whole day just doing 10 minutes at a time with 30-minute breaks, we could knock this out. But it never happened, and the director told me it wasn't my fault that they didn't end up releasing the game, but I don't believe him, and they haven't invited me to work in their studio again, so now I hate video games, and I don't ever want to do it. Now I just want to actually go do a play, which I did. After that, I went back and did some Shakespeare.
What did you do?
I was Touchstone in As You Like It, and then I was Toby Belch in what is that, Merry Wives? Anyway, two amazing, indulgent characters that I was lucky to get to play. And next, I'm gunning for Petruchio.
Yeah. I have never done a mocap thing. I've done workshops for it. There is a certain... you need to be very expressive in your walk and have full control over your body to like put across that you're a certain character. Like you need to know how to give yourself a heft and everything. And I'm sure if I practiced more, I could do it. But honestly, I focused more on the voice acting because it was more manageable in those 2 to 4 hour chunks for me. Doing it a whole day would probably wear me out a little bit.
So you mentioned the physicality, and I think, because I've been in the booth as well, I think the physicality still also applies when you're voice acting as well, because you want to take on the character and you want to, stand a certain way. So how much does the physicality in the audio booth play a role in bringing these characters to life?
It definitely does. See, the difference being with mocap, like you have like a camera and motion tracking balls on you at all times, so like there is no margin for error. You're doing whatever physicality, and that's being captured. Whereas in voice acting, you can do whatever physicality you want as long as it brings out the sound and intention that will get it there. And it's a little harder with voice acting in that there's this huge mic stand with a $2,000 mic in front of you, and if you bump it, it'll be an insurance thing.
That's true, yeah.
So it's a bit more constricting, but I like the challenge of that, honestly.
Has anyone ever had an experience bumping the mic?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm very physical, but it's not. The things I'm doing with my body wouldn't translate to mocap. I'm doing whatever I can to kind of activate areas, but
That's what I'm saying.
I look like a psychopath. I don't look like a human person. Yeah. And then I have so many facial tics that are unnecessary that now when I try to like audition for on-camera stuff, I'm like, my eyebrows are, it's like a dog wagging his tail. Like I can't, my face won't stop moving.
Stuff that you didn't realize was building and being associated with that feeling for you, and then it comes out in front of the mic. It's like, why am I raising my eyebrows so much?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Did anybody see? If you watch the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, Benedict Cumberbatch. So
Smog.
Yeah, Smog. And so like when he was figuring out what he wanted to do for that voice, and they were like playing around with it more in the rehearsal space, and I think they had some tracking on him, but it wasn't the official recording sessions. He like most of what he developed involved him on the ground. Yes. And so there was all this chest tension and access to certain resonance that when they eventually went and put him in the booth, they just had a mic stand, and he was like, "This isn't working." So they built a table for him to like do all the movement. Yeah, good stuff.
That is cool.
So we've already spoken about mocap, but there's so many different realms in the world of voiceover. There's dubbing, there's audiobooks, corporate commercials. Does one stand out more challenging than the rest, or do you feel like each one has its own challenge that comes along with it?
I mean, I'm nowhere near as experienced as these guys, so I do a lot of auditioning right now. But the one thing that I'm terrible at is commercial auditions. Like, I'm so bad at that.
Can we talk about why you feel it's a little?
It's just because you kind of at least it used to be Mick Winger, right? It was as a direct, like I did his classes, right, when he was teaching, right, and one of the things he talks about was like in the 50s it was all this kind of a sort of a male patriarchal voice tells you, young lady, like you need it's like, it's not like that anymore. People don't buy stuff like it has to be authentic. So when I read the sides, and I'm just like, oh god, I really couldn't care less about like whatever this is, like a reverse mortgage company. Hey, if you need and it does not sound authentic. I can't get it to sound authentic.
Right.
Well,
as hard as I try.
That's because they don't want like the sell anymore. They don't want it to sound like you're selling to them. They want the guy you meet outside of the 7-Eleven or whatever.
And then they'll say like, we want it really grounded and natural, and then you try that, and then you go and hear what they went with, and it's some over the top thing, and it's just like you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
The only commercials I've ever booked have been characters like Texas Lotto, like already cartoonish. I don't know how to be myself.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into that. Yeah, let's dig deeper there. No, one of the only commercials I ever booked, it was for some kind of pizza company, I forget, but it's because I can burp on command, and that's all they wanted, just some burps.
Yeah, I can't burp on command. I always have to bring like some seltzer water into the booth.
It's
with
very
me.
rude, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, you mentioned you love playing characters, Austin, and I mean, this is going to go for everybody, but like, when you're looking for choosing a role, I mean, as actors, we just love to work, so the opportunity to have a job is great, but do you have any particular type of character that you enjoy playing or that you search for when you're looking for a role?
I mean, I've got a few like niches I think I've fallen into, and at first it was a lot of like nervous straight guy in a harem comedy, which is really great if you're a nervous actor, because then if you're insecure in the booth, you're like, I can just use that. But then I've played a lot of I played a lot of Boy Next Door leads, but then I've gotten to play a lot more like psychopaths, and I guess what you could describe as deuteragonists. So they're not the antagonist, but there's somebody that confronts the protagonist and generally has affects the character by either by switching sides. Usually it's someone that betrays you at the beginning, or starts off as an enemy but then becomes a friend, and there's moral grayness there, and there's usually like a change in there's more variety in what you get to present. Like you can do the nice monologue, but then you could do the like mean monologue. So those are the most fun, I think.
Like Piccolo or Vegeta, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I guess so, because Vegeta, he does end up growing on you, and then you see him, and he gets his own kid. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll take Vegeta any day.
I would love to. I love being little tiny animal mascot characters, the ones that have like marketable plushies and stuff. I love just being like a little guy, because like, not only does it make me feel good about myself that usually my typecast is villains that do despicable things.
Nice.
So I like every now and again to have a little break, and like a wingman from Valorant I did. He's just like this little he's like just this little like blob of jello walking around and stuff. And I don't know, I just like that kind of thing. I also like the challenge of conveying an emotion without words.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think one thing that you guys have mentioned is that there's maybe with the movement is that there's a little bit of freedom that you have in a booth, and when you're not on tape, So any kind of like unhinged rascal, is typically the thing I like to, to certainly the auditions that I love to put together. It's but anyone who can make a sharp, what we call a reversal, a sharp turn.
Yes.
Those are fantastic, to play, and it's very hard to play those sitcoms. You see them a lot, right? Someone will be going, well, the typical thing is like a rule of three, like orange, pineapple, and like someone who can make these sharp turns, so much fun to do.
I've always said, especially when I get on my soapbox about acting, that it's the beat changes that make monologues interesting, and it's like Steve Carell could take like if you watch The Office, he could take a line that's got like 6 words, but he'll manage to put like 10 emotional beats throughout that to change, and it's clear how he's changing his intention, and you're painting with a finer brush with more like diversions is what makes it juicy.
I have one question left, and then we'll throw to the audience. I think we have about 20 minutes left here, so we'll get as many questions as we can and try to keep it for the entire panel. But Neil, you mentioned that you did some classes, and I think being talented is one thing, but also continuing your education is very important. How important is it to continue to take classes and to speak to other voice actors, have a mentor, and continue to build your tool bag in a sense?
It really is, and sometimes I should kind of take my own medicine there, right? Because it can be very difficult to fall out of that. There's no end to it. I think it was a Marvel actor was talking a couple of years ago about being in a theater workshop company. It depends where you are in the world. Obviously London, New York, are easier places maybe to find a theater company. Perhaps I don't know. There are in Los Angeles. But yeah, of course it's super important. The thing is like if you're getting, for voice at least, I suppose if you're getting regular auditions, you feel like you're staying creative through that, as opposed to making a commitment to be in a play or to.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if it goes without saying, you have to keep your instrument flowing.
Of course.
Yeah, you got to be like a shark. You can never stop moving, or never stop discovering yourself. And I think it is like it's an athletic thing. So there's muscles you have to train, and that's something you can kind of get out of shape with.
Is there something, and this is more for you too, because you've been doing it much longer than Neil has, is there anything that you've discovered about your own talent or through your journey in voice after 17 years that wasn't there in the beginning, but something that you were like, wow, I wish I realized this sooner?
There's small things. I think like one of the things I'm trying to ease into more and pay more attention to is getting more specific. And so especially because I most of my training was doing outdoor repertory Shakespeare. So when I came into the booth, I couldn't control my volume, or it was hard to reach emotional places without kind of pushing really hard. And it was I was very method, so it was hard for me to not put myself through actual torture, as opposed to really leaning into being in a present, sensitive, aware space where your bones are stacked and your muscles are loose, so that your bones become these resonating objects, and that vowel sounds can live throughout your entire register, which makes it easier to kind of create these sounds that provide the emotion. And I think sometimes I call it the Ryan Gosling effect on camera, which is he won't do too much so that you can inject your own feeling about what he's doing. It used to be I want people to know that I'm crying right now, but now it's I want people to kind of wonder what's going on, and then they can kind of project themselves into the story so that you're not hitting them over the head. Getting out of my own way is a big part of it, and then painting with the finer brush and being more efficient and not screaming so much.
That was my answer too.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for fielding my questions. I appreciate that. We have time. We have about 17 minutes left. We can get as many questions as we can. If you want to say, we already have a line. Perfect. Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, I'm Christina, and my question is, what do you guys think is your best line? I killed that. Not your favorite, but you killed that.
Oh, I can't do bests. I can't do favorites, and everything I've ever listened to, I've thought I could do better if I could.
Yeah, that one's tough. I don't know if I'd do anything different with Diavolo. I feel like that was pretty much as good as it gets with me. Maybe tackle it a different way if I ever got to do it, but I really liked the reads that I did for that, and Sasaki and Miyano as well.
I will say Trigun, though. Trigun Stampede. Ever wondered
But I
what
don't
it's
do
like
favorites.
to speak with a god? That one. I like that one. But I don't know that I'd ever do it again.
No, that's all. It's interesting talking about the battle chatter sessions because those are rough on your voice. I've had plenty of battle chatter stuff, but for me, there were scenes with the character Ghost in both games that I think we realized when we were doing them that we'd done a great job. But my guy's just like he's mostly known for that's the running minors here. He's just like let's go, like that's pretty much it. So how can you not nail that? So pretty. I've had it pretty easy. Let's be honest.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. All right, hi, stepping up. What's your name and what's your question?
Hey, my name's Kelly. I have been interested in getting into voice acting for like years and years, and I'm just like weirdly intimidated to like get started, I guess. So my question is, what to you, and I know this is probably like a varied answer, are like the building blocks that helped you get started? I don't know if that sounds stupid, but
Great question.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I did theater, but I sort of got into it in an unconventional way. At least at the time, I was an online animator first, and I feel like doing that sort of helped because I learned I would watch references to get movements down and stuff, and I would learn through that how different people hold themselves through different emotions and stuff. So I mean, if you ever want to dabble in animation, that is like a fun little exercise at least. I mean, no two careers are the same. Nobody really gets into this stuff the same way, except for learning how to act and taking a bunch of workshops on it, right?
Yeah, I think the compulsion to do it is the most important thing, and then figuring out a community to be a part of. There's so many different ways to do it. I was in theater, and that's where I tuned my instrument. I think it's so important that you either are doing workshops, but that you're with other actors, that learning to breathe in the space with another person, to live inside your body, so that you can find what is authentically you. Learning things like public solitude, even if you're alone in the booth, there's no skipping the audition process. There's no skipping being in front of directors and engineers, and so you have to be comfortable with yourself, and you got to learn who you are and how the world views you and hears you, not just how you view yourself. Acting is an art form for a reason, and I think especially I don't want to kill too much time with this rant, but especially in the West, we recognize there's more recognition that from a tribal ritualistic standpoint that it's about theater, therapy, theology, the self becoming fully realized, and that there's something about standing in front of a group of people and performing that allows you to get more in touch with your deeper, higher self. And practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So it's important that you're gaining skills and that you're getting feedback. There's a lot that you can learn on your own. There's resources out there. I would suggest looking up Kristen Linklater and Freeing the Natural Voice. A lot of people that jump into voice acting get kind of like, we start with imitation, that's any art form, but you shouldn't stress about trying to sound like something different, because you're always yourself in imagined conditions. Even if I'm playing like a deep-throated guy from Texas, it's still me, but I grew up around dudes that talk like this. And it's important that you free your authentic voice. Learn how to be you before you worry about learning how to be other people. And if you're doing voice acting, just cold reading is really important. So as much as you can practice whatever that is, and being involved in a community, it's going to push you forward, and you're going to grow with the people that you learn with. There's so many people that I was in theater with that I now work with at Crunchyroll. And it takes a long time. It was a decade of me having full-time job and doing theater in the evening before I started to see opportunities. I could kill 5 more minutes, but I'm not going to.
Listen, I give yourself some credit. You've stood up in front of, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 people. Like, you're here, you're asking the question, so give yourself some credit. Like, you're clearly not intimidated by public speaking in front of all these people. And within 30 days, you are going to somehow have recorded 5 minutes worth of any book of your choosing. End of story, no discussion, 30 days. Cheerio.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We got about 12 minutes left here. We'll probably get maybe 5 or 6 more questions. So, hi.
Hello. I've always just been curious about how dubs work for anime. Like, do you get a script and then have to match the words to like what the animation is of their mouths, or can you like fudge the script a bit to make it fit more naturally? Oh.
We don't get it ahead of time. We get 2 screens. One, we're watching the animation. The other one, where we see the script. And sometimes we'll go scene by scene. Most of the time, it's cue by cue. And so you watch it, you kind of memorize the rhythm, and then you stick to that. And if it doesn't fit, maybe the director will move it around. Maybe there's a few times where actors have kind of changed things and it's stuck with it. But for the most part, you're putting in piece by piece and making it perfect.
Right. The script is usually written by at least 2 people, an actual writer and then a spotter. And the spotter makes sure that everything fits within the flaps, at least with their mouth, before it goes into recording. So sometimes it might work depending on, how big the voice actor's tongue is. They can't get the words out as fast as somebody else. And then the director, sometimes they ask the actor, hey, you got anything? We'll just change it in the booth to make it work. But it's a big old collaborative effort.
Sounds tough. Thank you, though. That's awesome.
Thank you.
There's a musical aspect to it, too.
There
I think.
is.
Yeah. And a lot of people say that voice acting is pitch, pace, punch, and pause, but you can't use pace or pause. So you're conveying meaning with less tools at your disposal.
All right. Hey.
Hi, my name is Eric. I was curious about what have been your most difficult parts for any of your characters in voiceover. Like if it's been, oh man, I did this line 20 times, I still can't get it, or I screamed this line, but I peaked the mic. Shit. What are some examples that have been really difficult for you guys?
I mean, sometimes sometimes weather does it to me. Sometimes it needs to be a smooth, delivery, like a soft, whispery kind of thing, and I just can't do it because there's a bunch of pollen in the air, and I end up sounding like Harvey Firestein or something.
Nowadays, nasal knocks are my worst enemy. I'll do so much to my sinuses, and then once I get to the booth, suddenly I'm stuffed up again.
Do you want to explain what a nasal knock is?
It's like I'm so good at doing it on accident, but it's like when your nose kind of is clogged just enough that in the middle of the lines, suddenly you lose air flow between your nose, and you can hear it. And some engineers will remove it, but most of the time they want you to do it again.
Like there's some flap in there that closes and it's audible.
Yeah, and now I'm like having to see how I'm tilting my head and then like redo it, and then and I say like I gotta turn the chainsaw on inside the booth all the time, like that. And if I would pick one character, I would say Accelerator from A Certain Magical Index has a monologue that I had to redo like 10 times, and I got vocal nodules because of that. It hurt a lot physically.
Yeah, that was Cyril in Secrets of the Silent Witch for me. It's just the softest voice on the softest guy. And I can do it some days, but then there was like one day in particular where just like every line I just wasn't getting it. And everybody has those bad days. Everybody has at least one.
I just did a job where my voice crapped out. I mean, luckily it was a 2-hour session because it was rigorous, right? So we got to like the 1 minute, 1 hour, like 50-minute stage, but it was just very obvious. Like if you push too hard, if it's too guttural, you have to be very careful because you're paid to be there. And like you can try to hold that together, but if your voice is broken, no amount of PA with a cup of honey tea is gonna turn that bitch around. Like you need to take some time off.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Great question. Thank you so much.
it's about knowing your limits.
All right. Hi. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name's Alejandro, and I have a bit of like a silly question. But did you guys ever do impressions, I guess, as growing up or maybe currently? And who is your favorite impression to do?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I have autism, so I was mimicking everything and anything. I still kind of do. You ever get into a room with someone with a different accent and you just notice you're suddenly doing that accent? It's like, I'm not
Yes.
making fun of you. I swear to God, I don't know what's happening.
Those
I'm just
mirror neurons.
acquiring
do
it.
you ever do that if it's a foreign accent and you find yourself speaking like this? And then
It's
you're like,
so
what
bad.
am I doing?
Yeah. Especially if you're hanging out like I was in Ireland and I was just like I couldn't stop myself from getting into freak. Sorry, what was the question? Yeah. Oh right. Impressions. I've been told I do a good Jay Baruchel hiccup. Yeah, that's the only one I got.
I never played with my voice growing up. I didn't know I was going to be a voice actor, really. I certainly spent a lot of time imitating the people around me because I constantly felt uncomfortable and needed to try to fit in. So there was a few times when like I spent weekends at friends' houses and then I would come back talking like them and my mom would be like, "Why are you lisping?"
Because it sounds cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to change the way I talk, Mom.
I had to pick a role model, and he was older and cool, so I talk like him now. But I never really got good at impressions. I didn't ever really try. I have had a tendency to, without thinking about it, I will impersonate my friends' physical mannerisms. Like I can do like an Ian Sinclair based on how he talks like I'll gesticulate like other people without realizing it. But then I don't have that database consciously. So if you ask me to do it, I'll screw it up.
Yeah, so where I'm from, there is here, but where I'm from, there's a lot of regional accents. So I grew up kind of also mimicking everyone and everything. To some trouble now and again, to be honest with you, you know. But yeah, there were, there's all sorts of regional accents in the UK. So I won't go to them in specific, but yes, I grew up doing that.
What's the one that's really hard to do? And it's like really famous for being hard to do.
There's a few of them, obviously a lot of people can do like posh English and Cockney and things like that. There's Liverpool, which is kind of an accent like that.
Yeah. There's a specific
Birmingham,
one.
which is kind of here, and
The one that has it's like their own language is that who's the?
probably Scotland.
Marta would be yelling at me right now, my friend.
I think I know what you're talking. No, it's not. It's Welsh.
Oh yeah,
Well,
no, that's like an
there you go.
incredibly
Welsh
complicated
is one,
language.
but there's a. I'm sure it'll come back to me. I'll scream the name. In fact, I'm going to text Marta about
There you go.
it. Now I'm curious.
Well, we are, unfortunately, I have to tell my line, we're out of time here for our questions, but if you didn't get a chance to ask your
Sorry.
question, I apologize. Please go visit them down at the table. Before we go, I know we have NDAs and things like that, but are there any projects that are coming out that we can speak about, that we can promote, that people can look forward to seeing you in or hearing you in?
Sure. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is out in theaters now.
Nice.
I guess we're the number one grossing film in history for a weekend box office after Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
That's
That's
lovely.
fantastic. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Go see it. It's fun.
Trigun's coming back in January, so yeah, check that out.
Yeah, no, nothing. I've been doing a tiny thing on something, and I would get sniped. So,
Yep.
hopefully I'm in it.
Awesome.
like the next year. But yeah, we'll see. So,
Well, this has
Thank you
been
for having us.
fantastic. Thank you guys so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Let me ask, is it okay if we do a selfie with the audience here?
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll
Jor-
stand up. One more time. Big
Jordy.
round of applause, everybody, for Neil Ellis. Give it up
You catch
for
it.
Austin Tindle.
Yeah.
Give it up for
Yeah,
Kellen
yeah.
Goff.
Yeah.